Hello guys, what's going on? It's JB here. Thought I'd come on and say hello and make a video, but there is a seriousness why I want to make the video today, because the subject I'm not going to talk about football today. I'm going to talk about a more sensitive and more serious subject than football, which is probably, well, in fact, it puts football and life into a bit more perspective. I'm talking about mental health awareness, because I think it's important that this gets out and about in the wider public. Mental health is very common with men and women. I know people that have suffered from it. I've been through it myself. A lot of people aren't afraid to open up and admit that they do have issues with mental health. People see it as sort of a stigma. No, I've been in a very dark place myself. If to people that don't know about my backstory, literally when I was 16, I lost my father. I lost my dad to a heart attack. That was almost 20 years ago. I'm 30, nearly 36 now. I was 16 when that day happened, and I was heartbroken, and I spent a couple of years when I should have really been enjoying my late teenage years and doing everything that a normal teenager would do. I spent mine trying to come to terms with the loss of my dad, and it was the hardest 2 or 3 years of my life. But I had my family to help me through it. I had counselling, but it was still a dark place for me. And then when things started to get back on an even keel again, 2013, my life fell apart when I found out that my mum was diagnosed with cancer, and that shook me. And I had to put on an act for 12 months, look after my mum, put a brave face on things. But mentally up here, it was affecting me very, very much. I was in a very dark place. I would be, if someone said something, I would fly off the handle and that sort of thing. And because I was losing my mum, and I was being really hard at the time, and I'm being hard on myself. And when she died, it almost was the tip over the edge. I almost actually felt like committing suicide. And it took me. It's still, I'm still coming out of it, still coming to terms with it. I mean, people say that I'm a guy that on here that I shout and bawl about football or have an enthusiasm for it. Yeah, that's true, but there was a side to me that is a vulnerable side, and I've been through a lot of crap over the last few years personally, and it's affected me mentally as well, because when you lose your parents or anything bad happens, it affects you mentally, and it drains you and it gets you down. But when I was feeling down 2 or 3 years ago, I went to my doctors and sought help, and I got in touch with a local GP. I put me onto this female counsellor, and I spent 8 weeks. Spent 2 months, 8 weeks. So I think it might have been April 2017, and we discussed how I was feeling, mental state, and it helped me quite a bit to open up to her privately. I won't go into details what the conversations were. That's between me and the counsellor. But she gave me the confidence and gave me the belief to believe in myself, and and be thankful that I hadn't done the things that I wanted to do at the time, because honestly at that time I felt so low. I didn't know who to turn to or where to go. I didn't want to bother all my friends with it. It was hard. It was hard, and I still get a little bit tearful talking about it. But I'm going to try and stay calm today, because it's important that I highlight these things. My brother suffered from mental health. Everyone, a lot of people that I know have suffered from mental health. 2 or 3 of my best friends suffered from it for a while. So it is very, very important that if you are going through a bad time, a rough time, and it's affecting you mentally, I would like you to take this advice on board, and I want all my subscribers and all my people to share this video on social media, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, okay? Because we need to highlight this. It's okay not to be okay. So if you are suffering from mental illness, or you are suffering stress and related illnesses, I urge you, go and see your GP. Go and see a counsellor, because it does help. It does help. It helps to talk to somebody. It helps to talk to somebody that will listen to you, will not judge you, and a GP won't judge you, and certainly a counsellor won't judge you, because I've been through the counselling and I've got to say I've had nothing but positive experiences from it. So I urge anybody that's suffering from a mental health problem, please, please, please go and see your doctor. Go and see your GP, because this needs to be made aware of. I've been through it. A lot of my family have been through it. 2 or 3 of my mates have been through it. It is a very, very, it is an illness. It's an illness that exists, and yet people don't realise it is an illness until you've actually been through that personally, which I have, from both sides of it. You don't really realise it, but it is an actual illness, and it does take a while to come to terms with. But if you go to the doctors, you go and seek your GP, and you go and seek a counsellor, it will not judge you, and and you get whatever on your mind off your chest, and you just try and sort this out. Then you might, you won't think those things. You've got to try and be strong. Go and see a GP. Go and see a counsellor, because they do honestly help. And when I read in the news that people in October last year, I won't lie, there was a father of 2 who went on a mental a breakdown mentally. He had a mental breakdown, and he jumped off a bridge in Burnley town centre. He dropped about some 70 feet to his death. There was an inquest in Burnley today, in fact, or yesterday, that he'd been pushed by mental illness, but as a result of that, his 2 kids are now without a dad. Now, I urge any barbers out there who are subscribers to me, or might be watching this video, and you are suffering from mental health problems, don't try anything like that. I urge you to do that, because that is not the way to go about it. Go and see your GP, go and seek help. There are people out there that can help you, believe me. And I'm totally serious. I've been through the same crap. Okay, I'm not a dad, and I'll admit that. I'll be the first to admit that. But honestly, there are people, professionals there that can help. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to section you. They're just going to help you. Try and help you come to terms with the problems head on. And if you can do that, that's a breakthrough for you. And that's the first step back onto towards a more healthier and happier life for yourself. So whatever, excuse me, I didn't mean that. My alarm's, I think it's going off, which can be a little bit annoying, but anyway, never mind. In a serious note, if you are feeling down and you're feeling depressed, please go and see your GP. Don't take antidepressants, don't take pills or overdoses. Go and seek a GP, go and see a counsellor, because I can tell you now from personal experience, it really does help. And I really wanted to highlight this, because it's now becoming a very, very growing issue in the UK. Not just with men, by the way, but with women as well. I know a few women have experienced that problem, and it's very, very hard. It's a hard place. But there is a way out of the dark place. You've got to stay positive, and you've got to believe in the professional, in the GPs and the counsellors that we have in this country, that this can be achieved. But it can only be achieved if everyone gets together and makes it makes everyone aware of this illness. So please, 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 make everybody aware that mental health is not is an actual illness. It's not a stigma. It's not a stigma like a lot of people perceive it to be. That's a false perception. It is an actual illness, and unless you've been through it yourself, you won't realise how ill you actually get being mentally ill. And it is really tough. I've worked in mental health hospitals where people have, have suffered a lot more severe than what I have or anyone else. But there are people on hand. Your GP and counsellors are there 24 hours a day. If that, most of the time, doctor surgeries are open 6 days a week. So there's plenty of people out there you can go and talk to professionally that will know the symptoms, won't judge you, and will help you fight this illness. I'll leave you with this one message: it is okay not to be okay. And please, 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 let's make it aware. Let's make mental illness. Let's make people aware of this mental illness, because it is a very big. It is a very big thing at the moment, and a lot of people are definitely suffering from it. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. But me, JB, take care, stay lucky, and above all else, good health. Bye bye.